Rob Tell on the track. Hop in the whip and I hit these switches. See that chrome suspension. Look at the car, you know who did it. I don't have to mention. They know it's Alex from Hoppos. Custom work come from Hoppos. I'm Rob Tell if I vote for anybody that gotta know. Alex stay with fresh content and he keep it coming like a slideshow. Never cut corners far as I know, but he cut metal with his eyes closed. Control arms, reinforced frames, still killing the game. You see the gun smoke from Impalas with the X-frame, doing tricks like it came from the X game. Everybody gotta tune in.
What's up and good afternoon, my YouTube people. How are you guys? I'm gonna give you guys a little update. What's going on here? Been a little MIA. Well, when you guys are watching this, I'm not gonna be MIA, but been a little MIA on YouTube 3 weeks ago from the time you guys are watching this, just because we've been building and filming this lightning build for Ford and Neil, and it is hectic. It is hectic. I did everything in my willpower to get this to run as smooth as possible and get everything set up properly and just get everything done in an orderly and timely fashion. And the problem is plans change, things get added, things get removed, and it's nobody's fault at all. It's just that's the way, that's just the nature of SEMA. That's SEMA for you guys. And well, I know I haven't really filmed much on this. I dropped one video a few days ago on this build, but pretty much I'm just kind of update you guys on where it stands. Obviously right now I'm not at the shop to show you guys. I'm actually driving and we'll get to that in a second. But right now the vehicle is kind of on the ground. Two wheels are on the ground. And the reason for that is we got the air ride in. We had built the custom struts. We had figured out the top mounting. We figured out the lower mounting. We figured out ride height. We figured out lane height. We figured all that out. But the way that the truck is designed and built, because it's all-wheel drive and electric, these trucks have a huge gap in the rear. Very similar to like a F350 or F450. They have a huge gap from the tire to the wheel well. Well, normally it's not a big issue, but being that we're airbagging it, we're dropping it down. So our goal was to get it as low as possible. The thing is, because the way the rear is set up and it's not rear diff, it's independent rear, we have issues with axles and not letting us travel as far as we want it to travel. Let's just put it this way. The gapping between the tire and the fender is actually bigger than the gap between the skid plate and the floor. So we're trying everything we can to get it lower, but it's just physically impossible at this point to get it any lower because the way they designed, geez, this road is horrible. Because the way they designed the axles and the way that the rear, axles and diff sits, it's not possible. I mean, it is if we had like a year to build this and we just cut everything out and raise it up and raise the battery up and we made what we got to make. But we have 8 days on this build, or actually technically it was 10 days on this build, but my 10 days is getting cut down to a little bit less because I'm having to drive and travel and go a whole bunch of different places. I'm losing build time on this. The guys are at the shop right now doing what they can to get it done, but two wheels fit. We end up changing the wheels because we wanted to close up the gap a little bit, so we went with a little bit more aggressive tire. And with that happening, there's only two available, so now I'm having to travel to get the other two, but the other two are 45 minutes away. Then after I pick up those, I gotta go get a mounted, which is another 45 minutes away from there. Then I gotta try to make it back to the shop before 5, and it's just running around, driving all over the place. It's a lot. And I'll show you guys updates, obviously, as I get back to the shop, but right now I'm gonna go pick up the tires, and I'll show you guys that. And then when I pick up the tires, I gotta go gotta go drop off the tires and wheels, get one set dismounted and get the other set mounted, hopefully all within an hour, which I don't think that's gonna happen, but we're just gonna cross our fingers. Then obviously we added in a whole bunch of stuff. Green Mountain Grills was graciously and kind enough to donate a tailgate smoker, the Trek, which is something that we're going to be adding into this build as well, because obviously we're making this a whole camping theme and overlanding, and you got to have good food, and to have good food, you got to have a good grill or a good smoker. So we partnered with them. I went and picked that up yesterday, got that. I still got to modify that to make it fit into the bed because they got the bed slide, and then they got the rolling tonneau cover. So we got to do a lot of adjustments on that. So we got to still do that. We still got to do the 3 rear seat brackets and mounts and seat belt mounts and lighting. And then we got to do all the cosmetic face plates. Then we gotta do the 2 front seats, which Vic's working on the second one right now because I kind of started the first one already. So just so much going on, guys. Like, I wish I could film everything so you guys could get tired of me, but it's a lot. Like I'm getting delusional. I hadn't seen my wife and my daughter for 3 days. Every time I got home, they were sleeping. By the time I left, they were already gone or still asleep. So I finally got to see them the other day. I left a little bit early to go have dinner with them and put my daughter down for bed. So that was nice. Today I was hoping to have a little bit of time with them, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. So we're here picking up the tires right now. We're just waiting for them to grab them off the racks and get loaded up. Then from here, I got about another hour drive to the next location, and then let you guys know where we're at. All right, making my stop to the second location now, Will Warehouse, and telling me to pull around back so we get everything all done and installed. I'm gonna wait for them. So we're getting the wheels mounted up right now. We're getting them swapped. We're swapping the Falcons with the Nitto, the grapplers, I believe it is. It's the all-terrain. I don't know if it's a grappler or not, but it's the all-terrains. We went with a slightly bigger one to fill up the gap. Right now we're just playing the waiting game. They just took the wheels in right now, so these guys are absolutely slammed over here. I've been staying for like 5 minutes and probably seen about 5 trucks pulled out of here. So they're in and out, and they're trying to get them done as fast as possible. So I'm just sitting here waiting, and gotta get back to the shop after this. All right, so Gene knocked out the wheels real quick for us. They look good. I'm excited. I got all 4 wheels now. So now we gotta get them back mounted. We get this thing on the floor, because right now we were at a standstill. Without having all 4 wheels, I couldn't do the calibration for the airlift system. I couldn't air up. We did cycle the compressors last night. Everything was good on that. I had like a 3 psi or 4 psi drop, which isn't major, but I'm still gonna address it. I'm gonna go through and do a leak test on it. I'm gonna pull out my tools to do ultrasonic leak detection on it, so make things a little easier, especially on something that small of a leak. It's gonna be real hard to find. So we'll get the shop real quiet. We'll get all the tests done, and then from there, once all that's done, we'll continue on the rest of the 95,000 things we gotta do on the to-do list, which originally was only 93,000, but as the day goes on, it became 94,000 and 95,000 here real quick. So let me get back to the shop here, and we will see you guys there. We are here, we are working, and we are finally getting, this guy should start adjusting right now. We're doing the calibration on the airlift manifold. We're setting the minimum, we're setting the max, we're setting ride height right now, and all that's going to change as we go along right now as well. But we're just making sure that everything is turnable, it functions, we're able to get full steering, and without having any issues with rubbing. Obviously this is a little bit different than we're used to, because we're having to compensate for battery weight. So this thing's a lot heavier than your standard F-150, so we're having to compensate for that a little bit. I'm not going to really set the drive height yet until I go and take this for a drive. I want to get a feel for how it is. I want to take it on the freeway. I want to hit bumps. So I'm going to go ahead and do that after. But right now, we're getting it all calibrated. It's getting closer. I adjusted the front right now because the front was way too low for the bigger tires. Plus, we wanted to get an even rake compared to the back. We didn't want to have, originally when we got it, we wanted to go as low as possible. Now that we changed the bigger tires, we went with more of a beefy all-terrain. We want to make sure it fits the all-terrain look and not like a street truck look. So we're getting it maxed out, and let's see how it does right now. So right now we are stuck on step 12 of 17. I don't know if you can see that there. So we're just waiting. It's checking front. It's got to kind of wait, play the game. Things have been so crazy. I don't even know if I managed to show you guys what the frunk looked like. Yes, the frunk, for those of you guys aren't familiar with EV cars, that is the trunk. It is a trunk in the front, frunk. There you guys go, learn something new every day. It's very weird to say, it's very weird to get used to, but here's what we're looking at right here. We got the 2 444s, we got the airlift 3-piece system, everything we hardlined, and we used in the hardline setup here, and it's a pain in the butt. Let me tell you, it is a pain in the butt, because these manifolds aren't really designed for anything that screws in. So the NPT ports are the same ports that they use in the push, so it makes it very hard to tighten it. You literally got to tighten one, go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one, because the wrench it doesn't allow you. You could get a socket if you're doing straights, but once you start getting to 90s, you just can't do it. Honestly, I don't think I even had a socket that fit that. So we had to go and just do one at a time, but we did do everything in MPT and JIC fittings. If you guys aren't familiar with that, JIC fitting is that flare, that 37-degree flare that you would see in hydraulics. We do that before a few reasons. I mean, for a sturdier mount. 2, it just holds a lot better, and 3, to us it just has a cleaner look to it. Yes, we have used push in the past. People do request push. We do both. I'm just personally more of a fan of this style. Some manifolds don't allow you to do the push into the actual manifold, or the JICs into the manifold, but in this case this one does. So I'll just kind of give you guys a little overview of what it looks like. So we're at 100 pounds right there. We got 120 pounds. Got 145 pounds. 163. So it's been 2 days since we've been fighting this calibration issue, and finally we got a fix. It took a very long time. I mean, I even put out a post on IG because I was kind of stumped. I couldn't figure it out. We put a call into Airlift. We were having issues. I was on the phone with them a few times. They were great help, but unfortunately everything they were recommending just wasn't working. We were stuck on step 12, parentheses 7.4. Come to find out, what it was something very simple, yet something kind of complicated, and I overlooked it 100%. So what it came down to is the computer wasn't sensing the amount of drop it was actually doing. So to kind of simplify it, the computer, let's just, for example, the computer is calculating, let's say, 1 inch of drop via its PSI pressure sensor. And what it was doing is, because how heavy this thing was, it was actually dropping more than that inch. And the computer wasn't recognizing that. So it was going into a fault, and it was going into a pressure setting. So pretty much what it comes down to was the truck's so heavy that the spring in the diaphragm wasn't reacting quick enough to drop this accordingly to what the computer was sensing. So in other words, the computer, or the spring, was too weak to close that valve after the voltage or the magnetic pull was being pulled away from the actual valve. So again, I tried everything. So I had to trick the computer on sensing that the truck was actually lighter than it actually really was in order to redo this, or to get this to function. So finally, with all that, like I said, all day Saturday, and then Monday, I got a lot of hours on it. I think it was from 6 a.m. to about 1. And I think at 1, I finally figured it out. Now, calibration's all done. So now we had moved on to the next step, and I got to work on seats. But luckily, they are done. So we got the seats and the seat brackets all done. We had to modify pretty much all the Recaros here to get them to fit into a factory position. So we were able to get those in. On top of that, we added in a nice little face plate right here, just because honestly the side rails didn't look so pretty and the plastics didn't cover it anymore because it's not stock. Back here in the back seat, we managed to get all 3 bucket seats, and these are the carbon fiber buckets from Recaro, custom embroidered with Chin Edition. You got the color matching seat belts from Seatbelt Planet. Those things are freaking bad. We made the custom bracket. We made it looking like it was all floating. Everything is mounted. We got all the seatbelt harnesses, or the seatbelt plugs. Everything's all wired in place. So this is finally done. This took me about a day to get done. All of this process I didn't film because honestly I was so fed up and I was so tired, and I was falling behind on this build. So we got it, and we got the tires on. I don't know if I even showed that. I don't even know where I'm at in this filming process, but all 4 tires are on. Again, we ended up switching over to a Nitto. We went with a bigger, more aggressive, like off-road, all-terrain tire actually. We did that just to complement the build better, because I mean, if you have a tent and you got solar panels and the cargo box, I mean, this thing is meant to go out, and it's more of an overlanding style anyways. So the next step here that we just worked on was the trek from Green Mountain Grills. We had to get this guy, we cut, I don't know, probably about 6 inches off of these legs down here. On top of that, we cut the chimney. We had to cut this down just to get this to clear. Let me show you guys. Woo, look at that. Barely clears. Literally, like, barely clears. I give a big, huge shout out to Green Mountain Grills. Eric over there, thank you. This thing is freaking phenomenal. I'm actually pretty jealous. The one I have at home doesn't have the Wi-Fi and all this fancy stuff. So this is really cool. We're working on right now is I'm actually going to be working on a hinging system that's going to actually get this guy away from the bed slide. I don't want anyone cooking on the bed slide. And on top of that, the main reason is this takes up a lot of real estate right here on the actual bed slide itself. So when this guy's fully pulled out, oh, one more, like that, I want to be able to have this workable, like an actual work table or a prepping station or just a surface that you could put a whole bunch of stuff on. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually build a hinging system that's going to mount off of here and here, and we're going to actually pull this out this way. That way you could actually cook sideways, and then on top of that you could actually get the bucket to catch all your grease on here. The tricky part is I am very limited, and when I say like very limited, let me show you guys. Look at this. This is the clearance, right? Oh, look, it kisses it. So got all that taken care of. Also got the power tank mounted. Got the power tank mounted into actually factory holes, which worked out really great. I still got to figure out something to do with all the accessories, but as of right now, that's kind of just gonna be off to the side. But the power tank's mounted. Green Mountain Grills, that guy is pretty much almost done. Got to work on the final details, and then we got to get all these extra auxiliary battery packs mounted up as well. Of course, you got the Thule tent and the cargo box with all the racking. Oh man, let me tell you guys, it's been a mission to get all this stuff done. Now obviously we didn't do any of the paint and we didn't do any of the mounting of the Thule stuff, but we've managed to do a lot of work on the air suspension, which was full custom. I mean, this truck is so brand new, there's nothing out on the market for it, so everything had to be built and fabbed, really prototyped on this thing. We had to play with the offsets on the wheels because we weren't happy with it, so got that taken care of. And let me mention, these Vostens, these things are freaking sick. So we got a lot of work to do ahead of us. I got a long night here. We are on our final stretch. We got 3 days left. As of right now, we are looking good, but don't want to ruin my odds of finishing this thing. So for right now, guys, I'm gonna tell you guys good night. Mwah. Love you guys. See you guys next time. Just kidding. Stay tuned. Still got more.
Rob Tell on the track. Hop in the whip and I hit these switches. See that chrome suspension. Look at the car, you know who did it. I don't have to mention. They know it's Alex from Hoppos. Custom work come from Hoppos. I'm Rob Tell 504. For anybody that gotta know, Alex stay with fresh content and he keep it coming like a slideshow. Never cut corners far as I know, but he cut metal with his eyes closed. Control arms, reinforced frame, still killing the game. You see the gun smoke from Impalas with the X-frame, doing tricks like it came from the X game.